much, the 3 C's of dating. I want to share with you just 3 C's, 3 very important C's. What do you think would be a really good C to have if you met somebody and you wanted to date them? Anyone?
Communication. Connection.
Cash. What else on my list? But you have a good point there.
Communication.
Communication, that's another one.
Chemistry.
Charisma.
Connection.
Mutual
okay.
interest.
You guys are such nice people. What I would say at the heart of it is chemistry. You gotta have chemistry. Have you, well, let's find out. Have you ever had chemistry? Anyone ever had chemistry with someone? Everyone should have their hand up, by the way. We've all had chemistry. Okay? Now, let me ask you this. You've all had chemistry. How long did it take you to notice that you had chemistry?
Second.
Almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, instantaneously, how did you know that you had chemistry? Anyway.
Feel it.
I'll answer. It's my speech. For a while there, it was your speech. Your body knew. Your body knew. When you get within, I don't want to get in it. Anyway, 10. When I get in with about 30 inches of someone, through the nose, you pick up their pheromones. And what the pheromones contain is a very interesting thing. It contains, do you want to know what it contains?
Yes.
Me too. No, I know it. It contains the DNA of the other person. It's very interesting. So if you're, for example, if you're a woman, what is your body looking for? I'll answer these questions from on out. I don't want to know what you guys are looking for. Cash. Your body is looking for, check this out, as a woman, someone a little like your dad and a little not like your dad. Too much like your dad, well, that's taboo. Not enough like your dad, well, that's an alien. So a little like your dad, a little like not like your dad, and the same for men. A little like your mom, a little not like your mom. Now that could be good or bad news depending on how well along you got along with your mom or dad. Now, let me ask you, how many people had really loving parents? They just loved you to death, always loved you. Okay, you're not my clients, okay? But the rest of us who might have had challenging relationships with either father or mother, for one, you're my clients, and for two, it makes it more challenging because your natural chemistry is to someone who might not have treated you that well. Do you ever have that where you fall in love with somebody and you know they're not good for you? Anyone have that? Right. Yeah. You know better, but your chemistry doesn't care because your chemistry is based on your body. And what your chemistry wants to do, and my parents, well, I'll tell you about my parents. My father was an alcoholic, and my mother was a very loving narcissist. So I'm very attracted to narcissistic people. Anyone here a narcissist, by the way? Yeah. Oh, you? Okay. So, she didn't say that. I said that. So my point is, you gotta be, the chemistry is so strong that it'll overwhelm you. And even though you know better, you'll still be attracted to those people. So what are you gonna do about it? I don't know, come back next week. Find out. And you just have to train yourself, to retrain yourself to act like normal people who had loving parents. And you actually reparent yourself and you make new decisions. And the good news is we can change. Thank God that we have neuroplasticity in our brain. So we can change the way we're attracted to people. And I'll show you a perfect example. Have you ever fallen out of love with somebody? Well, your chemistry changed. Right? You used to be so crazy about them. Now they don't even look that good. You're like, and you don't have the same chemistry. So something changes. And what really happens is, as much as I would tell you all about this, blah, 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 there's only one way. Experience. Experience. And the other key that really helps you to learn stuff, unfortunately, pain. Pain. Pain changes us. When we finally had enough. And you know how when you learn the lesson? When you no longer want to repeat the lesson. But with all that said, we gotta have chemistry. So I don't care what you say, I don't care how bad the person is, you gotta have the chemistry. Okay, so chemistry is C number 1. What's the next C? I'm gonna tell you. Compatibility. Compatibility, Cash, yeah, right. Compatibility means that your lives fit together. Your lives have to fit together. Meaning you have to have similar goals, similar things that you want in common, and even just geographically. Like when I met my wife, she was from Taiwan, she was visiting from Taiwan. Well, we had to figure out how to make that happen. So there's geographic challenges, and there's also more challenges especially I deal with a lot of women who are at an age where they want to have a family, they want to have kids. Well, that's a big compatibility issue, because if you meet someone, no matter how much chemistry you have, if you're not compatible, if they don't want to have children too, you have a challenge, usually an insurmountable challenge. Because what I will share with you is compatibility always trumps chemistry, every time. And I can't tell you how many people, including myself, have tried to make chemistry trump compatibility. It just doesn't happen. We really need compatibility, and you have to, and this is a funny thing, and who's been in a relationship for a long time? Anyone? Okay. Here's the interesting thing about being in a relationship for a long time. People, when they don't actually fall out of love, it's not love they fall out of, it's they don't like each other anymore. They're not compatible anymore when they fall out of love. So it's interesting, compatibility is super strong, super strong. What's the third C?
Communication.
Awesome, that was short. Well, I got plenty of time left, you could have said anything. Communication. Communication is the third C, and it's really important. And there are 3 ways to communicate. Someone's talking about children today, right? Children. Little kids do this all the time. So there's 3 ways you can communicate with someone. You can either intimidate them with fear, or you can seduce them with guilt, or you can negotiate with them. You can tell them what you want, what you think, and ask them how they feel about it, or tell them how you feel and ask them what they think about it. And that's really the cornerstone of people who can have a relationship, is can they communicate? Do they care about 2 things? Do they care about what you think, and do they care about how you feel? And those are the people, like your parents, who have loving parents, that can do that. And that's what we're looking for. And that's probably the hardest thing to find in someone, oddly enough, is this. Can they make and keep agreements? It sounds pretty simple, right? But I can't tell you how many people, myself included, have met people I have tremendous chemistry for. Oh, we're so compatible. But making and keeping agreements? I don't know, because I work with women and the guys, they just don't follow through. They just don't show up. I'm like, do they have a plan? Well, no, he doesn't have a plan. No plan, no communication, no deal. So we need all 3: chemistry, compatibility, communication. Let's say you got 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. You got chemistry. You got compatibility, but you don't have any communication. So you're always going to be fighting. You can bicker, you kind of get along, then you fight because you don't communicate. But let's say you have chemistry, you have good communication, but you don't actually like each other. Well, you can make some kind of deal. We could do a trick. We had cash. We can make a deal. Or let's say that we have compatibility, we have communication, but we have no chemistry. What does that equal?
Happy marriage?
Happy marriage. Well, that's one way to look at it. Friendship, right? We have friends. We just don't have chemistry with them, but there are friends. And those are the 3 things. You need chemistry, you need compatibility, you need communication. When you're looking for somebody, you look for those 3 things. And the last thing that I think is probably the most important thing, and I say this for last because I think it's the most important thing, it's character. The character of the person really sets the tone for how long you can have a relationship with them. Because, as we all know, chemistry fades somewhat. Communication can be rocky sometimes. And compatibility can change as we go through our lives. But the character of the person pretty much remains. And what I would share with you is when I'm looking for somebody, or I'm sharing with somebody what to look for, is this. The only way that you really know you love yourself or anyone else are the commitments you're willing to make and keep. And I would really take that home. Is who can make commitments with you? Who's willing to show up for you on a consistent basis, even when, and especially when, they don't even like you. Because there'll be those days. But if they have the character and they have the communication, they will get through those days and they'll talk with you. And I would say this last thing I want to share with you is fighting is not the end of a relationship. It's actually, for some points, it's the beginning. It's our ability to go through those things that help us to grow. And for me, a relationship is it's like pouring Miracle Grow on all your problems and watching them sprout. But it's also your chance to really heal. And that's why I think it's the most beautiful thing in the world. And I wish that for you. So try these things out and let me know how they go.